One of the worst mistakes a man in a relationship or just a man out there dating can make is believing in relationship equity. And, before I start getting into this one, I do want you guys to see my awesome shirt here. It has a Q on it. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Others don't. That's fine. Anyway, let's get back into this. Relationship equity. All right. Here's where a lot of guys have good intentions and they totally get screwed over by the fact that they believe there is such a thing as relationship equity. Again, if we just even pile this down to if you're not in a relationship and you're dating a girl, you're going out on dates. When I say dating, I don't mean that's official. I just mean like you might go out on a date or you're seeing somebody, right? Relationship equity or just equity in general with women does not exist. So what the mistake a lot of guys make is that they think logically, right? We think logically that, all right, if I do a bunch of stuff now, if I sacrifice my life, I sacrifice my time, I sacrifice my money to help her, to make her life better, that I am investing equity into this relationship, meaning that at some point I will get rewarded for the equity I'm now putting in. So to a lot of guys, and again, right, this makes sense. So let me take a step back and just say, in a friendship with me and another guy, right? If a guy does, he buys me some drinks one night, I'm going to want to buy him drinks too. It's like, oh, he did this for me, I'm going to try to do this for him. He does me a favor here, I'm going to definitely try to do a favor back, right? It's just that kind of way we work. It's kind of that unwritten code of men is like, you're not a mooch. You're not just some guy that sits here and takes and takes and takes from people. You kind of expect that equity in your male-to-male friendships or your male-to-male business relationships. But with women, that just doesn't apply, all right? When you put in a bunch of effort, you put in a bunch of time and commitment to a woman, don't think that she will remember any of that. Because in the moment with women, their emotions can change super quickly. And when their emotions change in that moment, there is nothing that in your past that you did for her, she will not give you any credit for that at all. All right, you make a woman mad or you irritate her. She doesn't logically go, all right, you know what? He's being annoying this one time, but he did this for me. He did that for me. He did this for me. He's been paying rent. He's been doing... She does not logically think about any of that. Therefore, in your mind as a man, it makes sense that you think everything you did in the past will allow you to coast in the future, but that's not the case with women. With women, it's either, what are you doing right now to benefit me? Or screw you. That's just pretty much the truth of it, is that you can't bank on anything you've done, your good merit points from before. This is even harder for married men to figure out, because you could have done a bunch of stuff and all of a sudden it's like you've been the perfect dad, you've been this, you've been that, and all of a sudden she wants a divorce, or all of a sudden she's making rules for you and you're like, what? And it doesn't make sense to you. You're thinking, I've been the perfect boyfriend, I've been the perfect husband, she should be excited about this. Nope. They don't give you credit in the moment. Women do not give you credit in the moment. Let's take this to, let's say you get married and the sex starts to dry up. Again, a lot of guys kind of go, hey, the relationship agreement was that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to provide, I'm just telling you the kind of the traditional mindset we have. I'm going to do that, and you're going to you're going to do your part of the bargain, which is sex, right? A lot of guys think, well, if I do this for her, she'll give me sex because she owes it to me. I've done all this. I've been the perfect boyfriend. You should want to give me sex. Doesn't work like that. You could have 20 years built up of being the perfect guy to her, the perfect guy in her mind of doing everything for her, right? And then she no longer wants to sleep with you. She no longer wants to give you sex. In your mind, you're going, what? I've held up my end. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. My equity I put in. You're supposed to now reward me for all the equity that I've put into this relationship. It doesn't work that way with women. It's and again, in the early stages, it's almost the opposite. In the early stages, the more you invest, the more you commit, the more you're doing things for her, the more you take her out and all that, it's as opposed to it building up equity, what it actually builds up is it's almost reverse equity. And hear me out on this because this is kind of important, is when a woman knows everything you're doing for her, and again, in your mind, you're going, okay, I'm building up this goodwill so that if I ever screw up, I get a get out of jail free card. So in your mind, you're like, I'm building all this goodwill. She's going to also, reward me in the future because of how great I'm being now. But it's weird to understand this, but this is why the bad boys get women in the early stages and the good guys don't, is because it's, again, almost backwards in the sense that a woman starts to see everything you're doing for her. Wow, he's dropping everything to hang out with me. Wow, my car broke down and he stopped, he left work to come change my tire. All of these things that in your head you're going, oh, I'm being such a good guy. She's going to love me for this. It's like in her mind, she goes, oh, this guy did this for me. He also did this for me. He also fixed my tire. In her mind, she's going, he's obviously way more invested than I am, so I can screw up. This is her thought process. Is the woman, I can screw up and he'll still be all over me. I don't need to look my best and he'll still be all over me. I can skip going to the gym for this entire week because, wow, he's still giving me everything and I didn't even have to work for it. I didn't have to earn it. She literally coasts as opposed to the opposite. We think that we do all this great stuff for her. She'll appreciate that, which if you're a woman watching this, that's the right way to do, is appreciate the good things he does for you. But it's just not the case of how it works in today's world. So what she actually does is the more you invest, the more equity you put in, she actually goes, oh, look at all this stuff he's done for me. I can now, as a woman, misbehave because, look, he did all this for me. What am I going to lose? He'll just keep doing stuff for me. I know it's opposite, but it actually sets you backwards as opposed to put you forward. So relationship equity with women does not exist. Do not think anything you do for her now will count in the good for you in the future. And the next level to this is that it almost works against you. The guys that we call the Chad and Tyrones know that they need to do very, very little, if anything, and women will be all over them. They understand this because they understand what women understand, is that the less equity you put in, the more the woman is actually going to treat you well, because she's like, why has he not put all this equity in yet? I better work harder to get this equity put in, because most guys give her stuff freely. So it's such a different mindset change. Hopefully you guys were able to take something away from this. But again, as kind of a recap, relationship equity is a myth with women. The more equity, the more you do for her early on, will actually detract from how well she will treat you later on. Totally backwards. I know that. You guys, I hope, are starting to know that, or you know that as well. It's just backwards, which is, again, why I put very little effort into meeting women. I put very little effort into keeping an interaction going with women. And because of that, women put more equity into our relationships, as opposed to the opposite, where a lot of guys put a lot of equity in and women put in less equity. It's backwards. I get it. I know the situation we're in. That is why bachelor life is the life. At least, right now, in these days, there's why not be a bachelor? There's no better way to do it, because look at that. How backwards is that? The more you do for someone, the worse they treat you. That's crazy talk. It's insanity, but we're living in an insane world. So there you guys go. Relationship equity. Let me know what you think. If you've put equity in and you saw that it didn't work, you see guys on the side right now that are putting all this effort in thinking that they're going to get rewarded in the future. Let us know your stories below. See you guys. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe. Peace.